friends, welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I thought we could do something a little bit different. I guess this could be considered like a May or June notes, a reflection, a reset. I don't really know what this is. I have a series of guided questions that I want to go over with you guys. So it's sort of like questions that I would ask myself if I wanted to evaluate my own mental health, how I'm doing, things like that. And I thought we could go through them together. Maybe if you have the time, you can sit down and answer these questions yourself and see how you feel. I found these prompts on a website. I didn't come up with them myself. What is a negative thought that has been reoccurring? How can you deconstruct it and turn it positive? So a negative thought that I have had recently is that I am not able to make content the way that I want, for it to mean what I want, for it to turn out to be what I want. And the way that I can reconstruct this is to say that I make very intentional pieces of media, mini films, whatever you want to call them, and they might not be perfect. They might not be like $1 million productions, but there is someone in the world that is going through something similar or just needs a piece of comfort. Me talking about my normal life and showing that to whoever is watching can be cathartic and comforting. And it doesn't have to be perfect because life isn't perfect, and that's the point that I'm trying to get across. So if I feel like I can't do something or my videos aren't how I want them to be, not only is my art and my content going to change and grow over time, but just because it's not perfect doesn't mean that it's not worthy. What are 3 affirmations you can tell yourself to improve your mindset? So this is something that I have never really been like an affirmations person. I've never been someone that worked for me, but recently I have started journaling, and this is part of my journaling experience, is writing down affirmations and saying things to myself, reinforcing positive attributes that I have, things that I would like to emphasize about myself that I really instead of focusing on ways or things that I don't like about myself. So one of my affirmations that I could use that I could tell myself to improve my mindset is that I am sensitive and empathetic, and I am a very kind person. I am able to see pretty much anybody's mindset regardless of their behavior. I'm able to take into consideration every facet of their personality, of their being, of their past, to make an informed and compassionate decision about them. And my opinions are ever changing. I'm always willing to take in new information and change my mind. And I'm able to extend understanding and respect to anybody, regardless of who they are or the decisions they make or whatever. So I would say those are like affirmations that I tell myself often, because those are traits about myself that I really pride myself on, traits that I really love about myself. What are cognitive distortions, which are internal mental filters or biases that increase our misery, fuel our anxiety, and make us feel bad about ourselves? What are cognitive distortions that you identify the most with? Cognitive distortion that I identify the most with that increases my anxiety is the idea that if I am not perfect, people are going to leave me, or I'm constantly being judged, and if I have something about myself or I do something that isn't perfect, that I'm going to be found wanting and I'm going to end up with nobody. And that is something that I think is at the root cause of all of my behaviors. It is prevalent in every aspect of my thoughts. What are 5 thoughts you could tell yourself when you are feeling down? So, 5 positive thoughts. I am gracious. I am kind. I am empathetic. I am compassionate. I am intelligent. I am ever changing. I am proud of myself. Describe a day you've had that started out bad but turned out to be a good day. How did you achieve that shift in mindset? I have had a couple of days that started out rough, um, particularly days where I am in a PMDD episode. I struggle a lot with my self worth. And the way that I shifted my mindset was really relying on the people in my life that I trust, going to them and saying, this is the situation that I'm dealing with, and allowing them to give me their opinion or their take on whatever I'm dealing with that will allow me to kind of shift my mindset. I often am very harsh on myself, and I find that if I pose an issue with myself as if it's somebody else's issue, I'm a lot more compassionate and empathetic towards that person's plight than I am myself. So I have people in my life that will kind of feed the issue back to me in a different way and ask me how that changes my mindset or what I'm thinking based on this new information. So, like, for example, if I message a friend and I say, I feel really bad about this video that I put out, I don't think it's very creative. Some of the B-roll is, kind of boring. They will turn around and say, okay, what would you do if I came to you and I said, I'll use Tamika as an example. She is a photographer. She'll be like, Tamika will say, okay, well, what if I came to you and I said, this session that I shot is very boring. I don't like the poses. What would you say to me? And that sort of makes me reevaluate the way that I'm talking to myself, because I would never talk to Tamika the way I talk to myself. I would figure out what about that situation is causing her issues or whoever issues, and I would try to reconfigure the way that they think, or I would try to get them to see the root of what is causing them those issues. And that is sort of the loop that I get from the people in my life that I turn to when I have issues. They are very in tune to the way that my anxieties work and how to talk me through them. So I'm very fortunate that if I am having a bad day or I'm really struggling with something, I have people in my life that I can message and be like, hey, I need to talk through this thing. Can we talk? And they will help me. And that really changes the way that I think about things. It allows me to have a perspective that I usually wouldn't afford myself. What are 5 things that make you the happiest, and why do they make you happy? So, 5 things. All of my animals, I have 8 of them. So that's 8 things right there. I would definitely say my family is my number one, my family and friends. I feel like I have a very small but very strong support group, people that I feel like I can tell anything. I'm a very private person, so even if I don't rely on others to help me, I know that I have people in my life that care about me and would be there if I needed them. I have talked about my job previously. It is quite an emotionally taxing job, but I am very fortunate that my boss is one of the best bosses that I've ever had. She is incredibly understanding, and she really allows me to be myself, to show up to work as myself, and she doesn't have this like the work comes before the person mentality, and that really makes me very grateful. I am happy that I live so close to so many libraries. My library system is quite small because I don't live in like the most wealthy area, but I do have quite many libraries, and I have ready access to all of them. I have transportation to get there. I'm able to check out books, and I think that provides me a level of I don't know, comfort that this hobby that I have is so accessible to me. Something else that makes me really happy is the ability to provide for my family. I love that I have this house and that I have a stable job that makes it so that I can take care of my animals and my family in the way that I feel is right. And I do the very best that I can, and the love and compassion that I feel for them and that I get in return definitely fulfills me in a lot of ways. And then I would say the last thing that I'm happy that I have is definitely this YouTube channel. That sounds very, like, I don't know, stereotypical, but I do think that this is sort of my creative outlet. And with it, with any hobby or anything that you have done for a long period of time or you do a lot, there are some down points and some disappointments. But I think overall, this YouTube channel has allowed me to funnel my creativity and my boredom into something that I really love. And the way that my channel is going is such a positive, uplifting, and fantastic avenue for me, I think, to get out a lot of the aspirations and desires that I have for helping people and creating something that has an impact, and something just as small as a YouTube video. The idea of having someone that could watch it and, like, maybe they have PMDD and they didn't know it, and now they found like a video where I'm talking about PMDD and that helps them in some way or whatever, like that makes me incredibly happy. What are your triggers that cause you to feel anxious? How can you avoid them or minimize their effects on your mental health? So I'm actually going to do a separate video just talking about my anxiety and depression in like its own video. I do have PMDD, which is a depressive disorder, and I also have had anxiety my whole life. And one of my triggers for anxiety is crowds. I struggle a lot with being around people. I get overstimulated very quickly. So like loud noises and lots of people, and just like the idea of going out into public and having so many people perceiving me and forming opinions about me is very overwhelming for me. It causes me a lot of anxiety, even though logically I know that like 99.9% of the time nobody's considering me, nobody's looking at me, nobody's paying attention to me. It's still something that I'm really, really unable to get over. And so something that I find that is very helpful for me is if I know that I'm going somewhere where there's going to be people, I'll plan that event ahead of time. So like if I know that I need to go to the grocery store, which I don't do because I get my groceries delivered, but say I need to go like to Target or something for some reason, I will plan that several days ahead so that I know this day at this time I'm going here, so I can sort of prepare myself. And usually the act of getting there is the stressful part, and then once I'm in it, like, I'm over it. But having that like planning up to that point really, really helps. Check in with yourself. How are you feeling physically, mentally, and emotionally today? I am not feeling my best physically because I am sick. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice or not, but I've been sick for about a week now. And it's a sore throat, coughing. I didn't sleep very well last night because I was up all night coughing. Mentally, that sort of all plays a part. I don't like feeling bad, and I get quite overwhelmed when I don't feel well. And so when I don't feel well, I tend to beat myself up about not cleaning the house, about not doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm really trying to work on getting through that with myself and not putting so many expectations on myself. And again, going back to the not having to be perfect all the time thing. What makes you feel like your most authentic self? Is it being around a certain person, doing a certain activity, etc.? And why do you think you struggle with self-acceptance? My most authentic self, I think, is who I am when my back is against the wall and I'm doing something with animals or with people, when I am helping someone or an animal in some way. I think that's when I'm my most authentic self. I think I do very well in stressful situations. And I think that I, like I said previously, am really able to emotionally understand anybody in any situation. And I think that makes it so that I can show up as myself and show up as a helpful person in that moment. And there's absolutely nothing I love more than helping people. I would love the idea of no one ever struggling ever. And I know that's part of the human condition, but I want to help people in any way, in the best way that I can. So I think that's what makes me feel my most authentic. And I think the thing that makes me struggle, I think the thing that I struggle with about myself and loving myself is what I said earlier about feeling like I always have to be perfect, feeling like I'm never doing enough, and that I will be left at any time. I don't exactly have the best support system. I didn't have the best support system growing up. It was very tumultuous and emotional, and there are a lot of scars there that I have to heal, as a lot of us do. And I think that sort of triggers a lot of issues that I have with feeling like everything has to be perfect. No one can be inconvenienced, and I have to take everything on myself, so that nobody can find fault within me and, leave me. So that's probably what I struggle with self acceptance the most. And then lastly, what makes you feel loved? I see someone showing up as themselves for me, whether that's starting a conversation or whatever, as themselves, and feeling like I'm not going to judge them, or feeling like I'm coming into that conversation with the best intentions and them feeling safe. So in those moments, I definitely feel like I don't know, I think I can be myself, and I feel like I have a purpose. I don't know. That, I guess love and purpose are not the same thing, but yeah, I would say that's what makes me feel the most loved. So, those are all the questions that I have for my monthly reflection. The month of June is not over at the time that I'm filming this. It is the 15th or 16th. So I don't really have like a recap for June. May was quite a rough month. I've talked about it ad nauseum in several videos, so I'm not going to go through it, but it was a very emotionally and financially and physically rough month. So I'm hoping that the rest of June will just be better and I can just get back to my normal routine, whatever that looks like. So that is it. I would love to hear about you guys, how you guys thought about these questions down below. If you would feel so inclined to discuss them with me down below, I would love to do that. But if not, that is perfectly fine. I hope you're able to take these prompts back with you wherever you are, whether that is mentally or in your journal or whatever, and they're able to help you in some way. So thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys in my next one. If you are looking for more content, you can find me on Instagram and Goodreads. And I hope you will subscribe to watch more. And thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys in my next one.